Call it to order.
Okay, it is 9 a.m. This is the Village District of Eidelweiss Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Swearing in.
And I guess we'll start with the swearing in.
Okay.
Village clerk will swear in Mark, who was re-elected as commissioner for a 3-year term.
Congratulations.
Do you want to do Jane at the same time, or we'll just say our names and the title?
Yes,
It's
yeah, we
paused.
could do that.
Oh.
You come on up.
Where do you want me to stand?
Yep. All right, there is good. Just a quick intro here. It recently came to my attention that there's actually 2 versions of the oath you can choose. The standard version includes the phrases swear and affirm, and so help me God. If for religious purposes or personal preference, you're not comfortable with that, the alternative, the word swear, is removed, and so help me God is replaced with this I do under the pains and penalties of perjury. Are you comfortable with the standard? It's actually in the New Hampshire Constitution.
The God one's fine with me, I don't.
Okay.
The other one's
All
more
right,
severe.
good.
I know.
You know,
That makes it easy.
Wow.
the Old Testament God.
All right, and if you have my memory, you might like a crib sheet
Definitely.
for this. I think you wanted a crib sheet last time we did this.
Yeah.
Just for phrasing.
So we'll
Okay.
you say your name first, and then I'll say my name, and then you say your title, and I'll say my title.
Okay, so,
All right, please raise your right hand. I,
Jane M. Gunn,
and
I,
repeat-
Mark Graffam,
repeat after me, do solemnly and sincerely affirm
do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
that I will faithfully, impartially discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me as
all the duties incumbent on me as treasurer,
all the duties incumbent on me as commissioner,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
of the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mark.
Congratulations.
I've got the, let's see.
You can find these online. It changes every week.
It changes every
Yeah.
week, so is it okay to find it online?
Could you send it to us every night, maybe
Yes,
add
I want
Jane
the
to it,
signature.
because she wants to know what's on the agenda.
Sure.
Yeah.
To know whether she
Okay.
needs to come in or not.
I would certainly let her know, she knows that.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I'll be more than happy to send it to you.
There's one
Okay.
signature for you.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Pen? Thank you.
And I have a draft of the 113.
The 11th, right?
Yep. Larry will catch up with when he gets back.
Thank you.
Here's a draft of the FS 123. If that's okay, I will take it, sign it, scan it, send it to the office, and so forth.
Are you running off, or are you gonna stay for a little bit?
Stay.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I can stay for a little bit.
So you called the meeting to order.
Yes.
Now I'm a commissioner again. So before we approve the agenda, I'll make a motion that we have Woody McNiven be the chairman of the board for this election year.
Second.
Is that another new form to sign?
No.
Okay.
How do you vote? How do you vote?
Is this a shock?
Aye. Yeah, it is a bit of a shock. It's like, aye.
How do you vote?
Aye.
3-0.
Wow, beautiful.
Take the wheel.
Take the wheel. All right, I'll need some guidance on
Not
this.
Mickey New Guy anymore, what a.
Oh.
Okay, you weren't there for that meeting when I said, I may not be, but I'm still the amateur compared to the 2 professionals here. All right, the first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. And take a look at it. Is everybody okay as it is? Is there any need for a non-public?
I'd like to modify it by, on number 9, I guess is the best place for it. We have documents from Mr. Shore of Gretchen. He was in
Right.
with his
Mhm.
nephew, and so I think that could go in number 9 under old business, because that was opened
Right.
a week or 2 ago.
And they hit you at the annual meeting with that, so it all of a sudden popped in.
I
Mr.
think-
Shore?
Shore, S-H-O-R-E.
Okay.
Under number 11, correspondence for municipal, I think that should be in a non-public session.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps the 91A request, because I have
Yeah.
some real
Huh?
pointed questions on that.
I don't think the 91A request is a non-public
Okay.
session qualified.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, but
Just
the Mitchell, yeah.
I will still.
There's
voice my
also
concerns.
2 towers that need to be discussed in non-public session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is occurring today? After the meeting?
Yeah, we should definitely do it, get it done and over with.
Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with the addition of the Mr. Shore documents
Mhm.
and a non-public at the end.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 3rd, 2026.
At 9:07.
What's that?
At 9:07.
At 9:07.
Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion?
I wasn't here for that, so.
Okay, I have a few minor things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, under my report, section 5, the very first bullet, second sentence, it says they will notify him when the DNC review is to occur. Change DNC to New Hampshire Governor and Executive Council. Governors and Executive Council.
Governors.
Yeah, apostrophe S, possessive.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then I got one other thing, is the second bullet point, says Wood advises that Carrie McNiven will volunteer as clerk should it be necessary. Let's take out clerk, because that's not really what she was doing. She just volunteered to take the minutes.
Oh.
Should it be necessary.
Okay.
Luckily it wasn't. Doug was there, and
Mhm.
we knew those minutes will be great.
Okay.
Those are the only comments I have on the last week's minutes. Nancy?
I didn't have anything.
All right. So, do we have an approval of the minutes with the amendments?
Once you make a motion.
He did. I
Is
seconded
that-
it.
Oh, okay. So,
I'm gonna say
aye.
Aye,
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't
Yeah.
here.
right. All right, let's do an approval. Next at 9:08 is approval of the 2 manifests, the operations and the water. And on the operations, pretty low bill this week, $4,825.48. The lion's share of that being the repairs to the 2018 Dodge Ram 5500, which was $3,022. So, big one. Everything else was sort of small change. I don't really have any questions on it, do you?
Can I bring your attention to on the spreadsheet, the Eastern Fuel line directly followed by the Eastern Mineral line? And if you look at the chart of account numbers for those and the dollar amounts in the description of the chart of account, it may look like an error, because the chart of accounts for those 2 unique items are the same chart of account number, in the description is both highway roads salt.
You're looking at a prior manifest, Mark. We discussed that in the prior meeting.
Let's see, this is
What are you looking at?
21026 is the name of the file, which was yesterday's meeting.
No.
No, it's not.
This is what was sent to us for this meeting today,
Okay.
was this one right
In
here.
my error. So did we fix that when this was the manifest?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay. Thanks.
Okay. Nancy, do you have any comments on the operations manifest?
Nope.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the operations manifest for $4,825.48.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. All right, next we'll
Can I
move.
say aye?
Sure you
Sure.
can.
Next, we'll move on to the water manifest. And that was a grand total this week of $828.46. And the lion's share of that appeared to be AmeriGas, propane.
Mm.
Okay, and that was because I imagine that was it wasn't really an emergency, but late incoming delivery for the summit.
Muddy Beach and Summit.
Oh, that was $510 and,
There was one charge for Muddy Beach and one charge for Summit.
okay, I'm assuming the $141.43 was Muddy Beach and $510.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, well, we got propane, thank goodness.
And that was just for the fuel itself? They didn't add any service charge to that, did they?
No, they did not.
Great.
Good, all right. So make a motion that we pass the water manifest for $828.46.
Second.
Aye, all
Aye.
in favor?
Three.
Aye. All right, Jeff, you're in the limelight.
Okay. Good morning.
At 9:12.
Oh, at 9:12, we go to the DPW foreman's report.
Good morning. So just moving forward with winter operations, the end of winter operations, or we don't want to call it the end because the end isn't there yet. She's the end when Mother Nature tells us. But no, rubber edges to pick one up for the wing. The other day we got one truck outfitted with the rubber edges right now, and I think we're going to get the other one outfitted from, it looked like it was going to be colder this weekend, but that's sort of changing again. So to be safe, we're going to outfit both Dodges with the rubber edges to be safe for this whatever we might get over the weekend. So with that said, also there's looking around the district for frozen culverts. We did find one at 23 Hutwell that needed some attention with the water running out into the road. So we took care of that. We did have to purchase another drill bit to drill through that ice and another piece of pipe. So we got that over at Webb, and we had success drilling. We had to drill 20 feet through the
Wow.
driveway culvert to get through about 4 or 5 feet ice.
This is the new driveway culvert?
It wasn't the new one; it was the old one.
Oh.
The new one was working fine, and the old one froze up.
What was the address again on that?
23 but we were able to get that done so that was a success. The water was out of the road shortly and flowing through the ditch lines. And with a good inspection the last couple of days, we didn't see anything else that looked frozen up at this point. So we're going to kind of keep our fingers crossed that we continue on that way. With culverts, we did take a good look down at the Grissom culvert, the big culvert down there. And by putting our minds together, Tony and I, last spring, and addressing those caved in and flaps and all that, and doing what we did to alleviate some of that, she's flowing pretty good, knock on wood.
You can see inside the culvert this time of year?
No, we didn't climb down in there, but you could see the water running right through the pipe where there was no backup, like there was no ponding backed up with the water flowing, and it's flowing pretty good throughout the district. But yeah, no, just a quick little inspection from the top. We were pleased to see that was moving better than it has in the last couple of years, this time of year. So that was a success. And then that possible leak on Grissom looks to subside, so that could have just been melting, which was, we'll keep an eye on that, but that could be good news as well. And yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with how the roads are looking. I won't say they're dry, but, you know, it is coming into the mud season. We posted the roads on Friday, and I'm pleased with how it's looking so far. If people can help by staying more in the center of the road when they can, not get off onto the edges, you know, that's always a big thing this time of year. You know, obviously cars got to pass by each other and things like that, but the more you could stay towards the center of the road where it's firmer, the better off we're going to be. You know, we're going to start addressing the potholes with some stone and things like that. You know, we uncovered the stone out back behind the salt shed to get that melting off and those types of things. So we're ready to keep battling whatever we got to do to keep rolling on.
Yeah, Eidelweiss Drive looked really good except for one big pothole.
Yeah,
But I'm sure you know
That
exactly
same
where
one.
it is.
Yeah, you know, the roads are starting to pothole
Yeah.
up. It's the nature of the beast, and like I said, we're going to get out and start addressing these things. You know, it's what we do and what we know how to do. And it was comforting to hear the thank yous on Saturday. I appreciate all those. Us guys, we work real hard and we try real hard, and to get acknowledged for that was really nice. So thank you all for
Were
making
you
it
there to hear about the vote on the trucks?
to say on that. Yes.
You were.
Yep, I appreciate all that, so I think we got a good thing going and we'll keep moving forward.
Good, well, people were appreciative that you were there too.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah, like
didn't
I
know
said.
who you are, they do now.
Right. But that's what I've got.
With all the work that's planned coming up for the summer and other things going on, did you get a chance to research when the commercial driver's license school is being taught?
I have not.
Okay, so just
Something to look into.
Keep that on top of your list somewhere to look into it so we can plan accordingly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jeff?
I think I've got everything into the first aid cabinets in both garages.
Yep.
I don't think there's any more room for anything else, but
Yep, we got those loaded back up, thank you. So we're in pretty good shape with that.
and you saw the water jugs from
Yeah.
the eye wash station.
Yeah.
That big flashlight that was in the garage forever.
Oh, yeah.
I
She
got
resurrected?
I got an adapter kit that had 10 different types of interchangeable heads that plug into whatever you're charging, because that flashlight wouldn't take anything I had at home.
Right.
And so that came in, and I put it on there for a couple of days, and it's not resurrecting.
No.
No, that's
And
too
then I
bad.
thought about when that flashlight was purchased. I think it has a big battery in it, like is in a home uninterruptible power supply. If you've ever seen, the batteries are a block. It makes that flashlight heavy. But that was purchased by Steve Pannone.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
that was
was.
prior to my time, 10
That
years.
I think was like in the early 2000s. So,
Mhm.
so you're gonna have this new charger with 10 adapters on it, and we're throwing the flashlight away.
Right, that's something for the scrap pile, I guess.
The thing is huge. It's like
Yeah,
a gazillion candlelight. It lit up the inside of a 20-foot culvert. But
right.
and I'm thinking that was probably before you had these LEDs. Like I have a Ryobi
Right.
with the interchangeable pack that's blinding.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have batteries on drills.
Yep,
What kind of drills?
we've got some DeWalt's, and we've also, we have the Milwaukee's, the power tools.
So maybe we'll get a DeWalt LED so you can use the same battery packs,
Yeah,
and it'll be easier to handle than that big thing that
Oh,
we're gonna throw
absolutely.
away.
yeah. Yeah, the Milwaukee makes some nice ones. They're expensive, but they make some nice ones. That's what we have for the impact guns and the grinder. I mean, I've looked into them. They're about $100
Yeah.
for the lights. They go on those batteries.
Without the battery.
Without the battery, yeah.
Well, if you haven't used one, so it's a matter of whether you need one or not.
Right.
You didn't have one to use, but I sent an email to Willie Newtile today to start discussions.
Yeah,
Um,
on some ditching.
He's
Mhm.
Black Dog Hardscape that did the rock cracking. And so I'm just beginning that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start to come down to the garage if this board is okay with me continuing to work on the FEMA stuff.
Yeah.
No objection.
Absolutely.
And I was looking at big puddles that were forming because of the ice at the entrance of driveways, where the snow plows, driveway
Yeah.
plows push the snowbanks back on either side, and that first layer is solid ice. And there's a driveway on Eidelweiss Drive that I was using for an example that was puddling out into the road. But the next day, 2 weep holes formed in the ice at the bottom,
Right,
started draining it out. Today, there's nothing there.
right.
So it's kind of like, I wanted to take pictures of everywhere this was happening, but they seem to
There
be
one day,
disappearing.
gone the next. Yeah, I know, that's what we've
Good.
been finding as well. So, yeah, Mother Nature's doing her thing.
Anything else from the meeting for Jeff?
I don't have anything.
I'm all set.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, next, water. I don't think we have anything on water.
Commissioners' reports.
Oh, excuse me, you're right, thank
Yeah.
you. Commissioners' reports.
Time.
Time is 9:21 a.m. Commissioners' reports. We're gonna go in different order. Nancy?
Yep.
I'll start with you. You're usually the
Okay.
last to go, so.
So the annual meeting went well on Saturday. Everything passed.
Mm.
So we are getting the 2 new trucks, which was very exciting. But we did have a couple of things on ordinances that also passed. So I will have them ready for next week as a signature item to change the last line on the pond ordinance
Oh.
and the water hookup in the water ordinance. It spells out the charge for the,
Yep.
so, and those will be the only changes.
Yep.
Because that's what was authorized at the annual meeting. Anything else, we'll need to do the standard hold public hearings, get all the information out 10 days in advance, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll at least get that part changed for, as the annual meeting told us to.
Yep.
Right, but we also have to change 2 line items on the approved budget.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that's something that we will work with.
Okay. It's pretty straightforward. We reduced gravel by 10,000 and we reduced the repairs and maintenance by 6,000.
Right, that'll, and when we look at the budgets, which we could probably do next week, if we look at, when we look at the budgets, there's a couple of line items that were not funded, that we can probably take off
Mm.
the spreadsheet. They haven't been funded for a couple of years, like asset management.
Right.
Right.
There were no expenses in 2025, there was no budget, and there's no budget for 2026. So I would think that we could take, if we wanted to, we could possibly remove those line items from the budget. So that, and we can wait until we're actually looking at it next week, unless you want to look at it right now.
Yeah, no, let's take a look at the budget next week. So we get it all corrected with the new approved budget. And then you want to do a year-to-date
Yeah,
side-by-side comparative analysis. Okay.
So are you planning to come to the office, Nancy?
yes, I am.
Great.
In the asset management, we still have a big opportunity to improve documentation on the water system. We did some pretty big things, and I don't think we entered documentation, and then fixing everything. All the work that you and Dinah did, and the work that Larry did to put it into a access database,
Mm-hmm.
all that has to be reformatted, I think, into Excel spreadsheets so that the form factor is acceptable into
Yes.
eternity.
Yes.
Where SQL databases are not manageable by the village district all, and
Right.
even access isn't available on our computer systems.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's asset management or whether we will be looking to fund that operation, but I would really like to see us make a giant step forward in properly documenting this water system, because we know it costs us thousands
Mhm.
when we don't have the information about what's really in the ground and where it is. So that just came, I've been thinking about this for a long time, I just haven't had time to even look at it.
Right. There is a a thing in the computers. Hopefully we could find it. It's from a few years ago. And I don't know if it has been updated since 2019. That we should look at, that shows all the capital assets of the district. So we're gonna need to change a couple of trucks by the end of this year. There's a section in there for water system that lists where the pipes are and things of that nature. We can at least start with that as a start point to look at.
Like properly documenting the Aspen Bergdorf
Yes.
project last year.
Yes.
That's a major thing that happened.
Right.
Then there's also the spreadsheet that keeps track of the depreciation of assets.
Yeah, that's the same.
That's what you're talking about?
Yep.
Well, you mentioned that details about where the stuff is, that doesn't actually go in there, except details of the details of the Aspen Bergdorf project don't go into that spreadsheet, just the dollar amount.
Right.
So,
So we will want some type of update to an old improvement plan so that we can get this stuff documented. And yes, that's a very
another thing
good,
to do.
I think that's a very good
Yeah, and I'm a
thing
little
to work
confident
on.
that-
Yeah?
Well, I'll comment it on my my report.
Okay.
So I think you're next in line if Nancy's finished.
Yep.
So I mentioned I contact Black Dog this morning. I meant to do that last week. So I'll follow through and keep you aware of planning. I want to get him thinking about Lugano, and I want to send a message to Ian for next week's meeting when he does come in for water.
Yep.
To have him ready to talk about how he would plan the Lugano project, and then start to sync up Black Dog landscaping, hardscaping with him schedule-wise, and lock down the hammer to come in at a certain time, and Ian knows when it's coming in and when it should be done, that he can come in and start fixing the piping in the ground.
Okay.
I want to contact Bernie and tell him that the voters approved the Como PRV project.
Yes.
And part of that is that's a project they approved $90,000 for that project. And I guess at some point we really need to review the idea of preferred vendors. And I don't know whether there's a policy in place that says that you can have preferred vendors and not plateaus on what the projects are worth and when it has to go out to a bidding process.
Right.
Mm.
And I think I'm going off the fact that during the Rhineac project, that board at that time selected an asphalt pavement company as the preferred vendor. And they did a $30,000 project for Bristol stock that goes up the hill, goes over the top, and goes down into Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to use that same contractor for paving all of the shoulders that were damaged during the 2023 disaster that FEMA is funding. So we're using them as the preferred vendor there. When it comes to the federal project that I'll talk about in a second for Grissom, the culvert, that I think the federal government, if we're using FEMA money, is going to require, in the dollar amount of that has to go out to bid. And obviously our preferred vendor can bid on that. And the previous board in 2023 paid a contractor to do an estimate of how much it would cost to fix the Grissom Culvert project. And I think they got paid $1,000 or $1,200 for an estimate that wasn't binding, but gave them a dollar amount,
Yeah.
which FEMA rejected how much that cost and once
Yeah.
sent us off on the project I'll talk about in a second. But I think I'd like to have Bernie do the same thing. Is at some point, we're gonna have a new design that the state will have to approve one way or the other. If they approve it, then FEMA's gonna want an estimate of what that new permit is gonna cost to do, and they're helping us pay for the engineering to get the cost of the thing down where they can contribute. So, what do we know about preferred vendors and what our current policy is on requiring bid packages or things going out to bid? Did that get changed by that board at that time, or they just did it? Do we know?
Not positive.
Yeah, I'm not either. I remember a discussion of it, and I think the figure floated like a $10,000 difference between what one figure I heard and another figure I heard.
That's the policy that says anything over 30,000 is gonna be put out to bid,
Right.
not to the preferred vendor list. So that's two different
Two different
policies.
things? Okay.
So we were going down the road that we would have a preferred vendor do the Como PRV. Do we
Mhm.
need more time to discuss that, like at another meeting, or?
No, I think we should stick with him and get,
Is it clashing
Get some
with
info
a
to 'em.
policy that we're not clear on? Because we need to look to see what the books have for policy on such a thing.
We can take a look, but I don't think this was not a factor when the Aspen Bergdorf project was worked on.
Right. That was a little over 60,000, I think.
Mhm.
And we know that thing's gonna, the work that was done there is gonna outlast all of us.
So, should we go ahead and start Bernie on the path of planning the Como project as we look to see what our policy documented is and see whether we want to adjust that?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean,
Because we don't want to hold up Bernie while we try to figure
Right.
out our own
No,
policy.
right, I wanna get on his schedule.
Right. And the fact that we have, you know, utmost confidence in him being able to perform not only the job, but do it right the first time.
So does the water contractor,
Yes.
water operator. Okay. So DES, yesterday morning at 9:30, our engineer Nick Schedule was on a video conference from Laconia. I think that's where he is. He would look like he was in his office. And two representatives from New Hampshire Homeland Security Emergency Management were on the conference call. One was in Ossipee and the other one was in Concord. And two engineers from DES were on the conference call, video conference from Concord. And it went for about an hour. And the purpose of it was we tried to do this starting last June. And the people we were told to contact never responded from DES. And Homeland Security gave me the name of a new person, Emma Berger, who responded immediately. And she pulled in a guy that the engineer was trying to get a hold of for about 2 months. And he was on it, which was excellent. The bottom line is, the two DES engineers saw no red flags in having our engineer take the design that was approved in 2017, which was for a 12-foot precasted box culvert, and change the design and the materials of the culvert to a lower cost solution, which is a metal, maybe aluminum coated, like the one we put in at Big Loop to connect Big P to Middle P, to take the existing permitted design and change out just what the culvert is made out of, and not affect the costlier part, which is the environment around the culvert. That's what DES looks for. What happens as the water is rising because of flood condition as it's going through the new culvert, what happens to the environment around it. They're okay with what's already on the plan. So after the meeting was over, I sent an email to Nick to ask him for an estimated budget of what it's gonna cost to do what was discussed in the meeting yesterday. And then we'll look at that and formally vote to say go or no go on that. So that's what that is, the most positive thing we've heard since 2023 happened yesterday morning, finally.
Excellent.
The only other thing that I want to mention is we should probably work on it. This is the time of year where we need to start managing cash flow, lay out what the big expenditures are and when they're happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because July is a critical time where the race is on to get the first payment from the town in from taxes. They collect it at the beginning of July, and we get it towards the end of July. And we're running off the cash that we have in the bank, which this year, the FEMA money could be used for cash flow, meaning we're not spending it, but it's cash in the bank. So, but I think we should do a spreadsheet every year on the cash flow as we get into this part of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. That's it for me.
Okay. All right. Well, as we all know, the good news is the voters approved the acquisition of a new Western Star truck at approximately $300,000, and then, of course, the Dodge 5500 Ram outfitted with a lot of plowing gear that, when you total that all up, it's going to come up to about $160,000. So now we're looking at, I'm going to round it up a little, just to be conservative. We're looking at a grand total of about $470,000, of which we are going to commit $70,000 from a capital reserve fund, but that still means we need to finance $400,000. So I finally heard back from someone at Keene Dodge yesterday, a gentleman named Dustin Blanchette, who is researching financing options for municipalities from Ally Bank. So I told him we were purchasing a second truck. I didn't really get into depth saying we're going to try and, because we may not. It all depends on what we decide, whether we try and use one financing institution for both new vehicles, or we go with different ones. I don't know, because the challenging part right now is finding a financing institution that gives us the most favorable terms possible. So anyway, we got Ally Bank in the works. We remember H.B. Fairfield directed us to another one. Was it Texas? It was a municipal lending. So I think at some point we, the board, are going to need to meet and to concentrate on just getting proposals from these various financing institutions that we can identify.
I think it was in Kentucky. It was a company whose name had the fact that municipalities you don't pay taxes on the
Right.
money you make on interest.
Right. Okay. So anyway, so we need to start that process so that once we secure the financing, we can put in our order for these vehicles as soon as possible, because I believe the hope was to get these up and operating on the road sometime in the latter half of this year, preferably well before it starts getting cold again. So that was good, hearing back from them. And then getting back to the water system, you discussed trying to, on the asset management side, trying to get a better handle on that. I think we need to roll that into, I'm sure you saw the letter from NHDES, not dinging us, but alarmed that when it came to the lead line, that our spreadsheet said unknown for all 500 plus households. I was like, well, wait a minute. We sent out the notice to everybody that they can test, and we've been in accordance with what they wanted us to do. I suppose if we had even 5 households filled in on that spreadsheet, that would have made them happy, but that's a long-term project. I think we need to discuss with Ian next week more on the best way to tackle this, because I have no clue how to do that, other than the only thing I can think of is if we go over the last couple of years, new construction homes that had a water line put in, we can confidently say, no, there's no lead in their lines going to that house. And I know that we're of the opinion that there is no lead lines in our system, whether it's a service line or a homeowner's line, the home going from the CV to the home. They're not going to accept our word for it. So I don't know. That's a big project. I just want to bring that up, and probably if we're going to do getting the assets and the cards and everything, all that, we need to roll that into it too. So it's a gradual filling in of that spreadsheet over time. Any discussion? That's all I have.
Well, one of the things we could ask, I don't know on the cards, the card stock for where the curb stops are.
Yeah.
If we're getting the information of what the service line is from the main to the house. So that could be something additional that we talk to Ian about, to see if they're capturing that information, because then anything that we have that information on, we could certainly send that right in, right up front.
Yeah.
And say, okay, we already have this information on these ones, and we know for sure they're, lead-free. But that's a way we could certainly.
Yeah,
See
my,
if-
my question to Ian next week would be, because when you find something that works, you tend to stay with it. My guess is the vast majority of the new construction homes that he's hooked up, they've used the same materials for hooking up. Now, I don't know that for a fact. That's just speculation on my part.
I know back in the house built in 1972 has a plastic line going from the curb stop to the house. Now, I don't remember whether this project requires pictures of the pipes to prove that you've actually seen it, or what kind of proof do they want?
I think they would love that, but I can't believe anybody is saying, you got to dig it up and take a look, because that's just that. Come on, that's
Right.
over the top.
No, when the service line from the curb stop comes into the house, usually there's 4 or 6 inches of the pipe coming up through the floor before the plumbing of the house in the
Yes.
first gate valve for the house is there. And in 48 years, I've never seen or heard of anybody saying that any pipe that we've installed, even back from the beginning of Great Northern, was anything but a PVC pipe. So we can attest that the village's system doesn't have any lead pipes in it at all. I'd sign off on that myself.
Okay.
And then as far as from the curb stop to the house, I can think of one house that may have used copper to fix a problem of the plastic curb service line from the curb stop to the house. Near the house, I think a contractor used a piece of copper, but no lead pipe. I know that North Conway had lead pipes that were put in the ground when that water system was first built, but none in Eidelweiss, so
Including the water mains.
definitely not the water mains.
Right.
So maybe this is a 10-minute discussion again with Ian. He went through this with us, but there's certain things I can attest to that I've never seen or heard anybody ever say there's lead in anywhere in our system.
All right, well, I'll go back and look at the requirements of the program.
The only thing is that the houses that had copper put in them, that the plumber sweated the pipes together, soldered them,
Yeah,
there's lead in the solder in the houses that were built back in the 70s.
okay.
And I think that shows up on a test if you let the water sit in the pipes for a long time and then test the water. And so, do you know if they're after that too, that they want to know what's in the house?
Yes.
Well, that's why they had the water test. People could do these home water tests.
The free tests.
Yeah.
And are people doing that? Testing?
Some. We did a
Very
handful.
few.
Yeah. But just did the people who did order the test, did they get back to us what the results were?
No, they don't, the people don't get back to us. It's the one stop that sends us notification.
Okay, so we have information on that then?
Yeah, they're all flagged. You
Okay.
said you were gonna come to the office at one point
Yeah.
and review that information.
Okay, because that's something I could fill in immediately into the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
All right, I'll do that. And I'll go back and look at what the requirements are. And just,
Yeah.
it's a frustrating program,
Yeah.
because every time we brought it up with Ian, even he was like,
He
It's
tells us how
impossible.
crazy he thinks the program
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Yep.
because it
It's
is
crazy.
over the top.
Yes.
yeah, it's not that it's a bad idea, but some of the, come on, you
Right.
can only do so much.
I think this all stems out of the problem that they had in Detroit. If you
Oh,
remember that problem
yes.
way back,
Yeah, Flint,
the federal
Oh,
government went
right.
after
Flint,
this.
Michigan, yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, we'll take this up with Ian.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So, that's all I have for my commissioner's report. So, anything else?
I just want to ask if you two are okay. If I was going to send an email to Ian saying, be prepared to talk about Lugano, should I say we also want to spend 10 minutes going over the lead program?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
we,
Yeah,
okay,
Please.
I'll include that
Right.
copy. You guys
that'll
are-
give me time to re-review the program.
Okay.
Because like every time I've read it, it's given me headaches, but I'll have my bottle of aspirin ready. All right. So move at 9:46. We'll move on to next agenda item, which is water, which is Ian's not here, so I don't think we have anything to discuss there. And we obviously already discussed quite a bit already about that. We don't have any scheduled public appearances. So next we'll move to the administrator's report at 9:46 still.
Yep, I got nothing.
Nothing? Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda, still at 9:46,
Yep.
is old business tabled items, EII payment status.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to continue to hold the check. If we've gotten any more information back as to the historical data.
I can make a motion to frame this conversation. And it would be that a motion that we're holding a check. I think we should send them half that money. And if that gets a second, if you want to talk about this, then I'll get into it a little further.
Second.
I think that's a very sensible idea to try and,
So let me explain. We're holding a check for $20,000.
roughly, yeah.
And so they have purchased the system and we've been using the hardware. They have not completed the installation of all the software. The engineer from that company said that there was a problem with the historical data, and his understanding of the problem changed as he pushed higher into General Electric's, who's the source of the software, to a high level of support, and changed his strategy on how he was going to solve the problem. The way it was left with him in the phone call I had with the EII engineer, Aaron, was that he was going to put in his latest solution from General Electric into our system, and then have Ian verify that he can see all the historical data that the SCADA system, which its job is to record historical data and present it to the water operator to help diagnose what's going wrong with the system, if anything. That has not happened, which is why I'm saying, even though we already have a check, let's void that check, send them a check for $10,000, and one of us will send an email to Fritz and Aaron, Jim Fritz and Aaron, the president of the company and the engineer, saying that not only do we need a water operator to verify that he has access to 100% of the historical data, which was the reason we were holding the check, but now there's a new need, which I think we need to also talk to Ian about next week, which is the recent failure of the Jungfrau pumps that caused the Rheineck tank to empty, and there was a water outage for a portion of a day. Revealed to the water operator that there are alarm points in the system that he expected the SCADA system to report on, that he didn't see alarms coming in from the SCADA system, that he knew should have alarmed because they intentionally caused the condition that should have set the alarm off. So, I want to hear from Ian whether those points used to work on the old system, which is why he expected to see alarms when he created the conditions to trigger the alarms off in the SCADA system. And that's another thing that EII has to complete before we pay in full for the new system. So I'm keeping the remainder of whatever we owed minus the 10,000 that I'm motioning that we pay them, because to be fair, they've got cash tied up in our system. But I think there's still enough incentive for them to complete the total installation of the new system to the water operator's happiness, and then we pay in full.
Okay,
Makes sense?
makes perfect sense to me, and maybe we could have Ian address that again next week if.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's another thing I'll add on to the Ian
so-
email.
Yep.
Yep, Lugana, Leadline, and SCADA.
Okay, so there was a motion on the floor.
You second, yeah.
It was seconded, so I'll say aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Yeah, oh, approved, 3-0.
You'll get it.
One of these days.
Bye, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
So long, Jane. Okay. All right, so now we can move on at 9:51. We can move on to signature items, which includes a request for absence by one of our DPW
Yeah,
employees.
and it is 5 days because there's a holiday that I neglected to.
We had, before you go to signature items, under old business, we also had
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Shore's.
Right.
Oh, I thought that'd be under correspondence. Okay, we could, all right, so I'm gonna back up and we'll take care of,
Okay.
Mr. Shore's request for,
Yes.
So to
Gotcha.
focus this, I'll make a motion that we sign the document saying we approve of them pursuing a lot line adjustment, which would be shifting some of the property that is at their address on Gretchen from the side where, from the left side of the house where Eidelweiss has land called the bridle path on the map. We're exchanging land at the back of their lot so that they can have the house properly situated on land they own and fix a septic design. And so that's the motion, is that we sign the document so that their surveyor can bring this to the Madison Planning Board for a lot line adjustment.
I'll second that.
You want,
I
take
did,
a look at it?
I did review that earlier, yep. And the,
I went there this morning to see if there were any dead bodies lying on the lot, on the land that we're acquiring.
Okay.
Any problems with this.
okay,
And
they were buried deeper than 6 feet, so we're okay.
well, I was looking for lumps that were about 5.5 feet to 6 feet long.
Oh, boy.
I didn't see any.
Okay,
It's clearly, the surveyor clearly marked the front pin locations. He's got a telephone wrapped in tape, and there's an old Great Northern wooden stake nailed to a tree, which was the original way that they laid out Eidelweiss with old faded paint on it.
Wow.
So you can see where the current lot front boundary is. And then there's actually an old Eidelweiss, this area is protected because it used to be the well field in there.
yeah,
So I looked at it, I don't see any problems with it.
Yeah.
okay. So,
So do we have a motion second to approve this?
Yep.
all right, so it says Eidelweiss sign.
We vote.
What's that?
We
Finish
vote
the
on
vote.
signing it.
Okay. All right. So we made a
Aye.
motion before that we sign it.
3-0.
Yep.
3-0. Okay. So all of us sign here?
Yeah, if you want to take that with them,
Okay.
and we keep one of them.
Do you, you guys get one copy of
We have this one.
Ron Briggs said. And then I'm going to drop off the other copy to Ron Briggs this morning.
Today is 11 March 26. And the Ron Briggs design's really good, very
Yeah.
well laid out.
He's very, he's really good and he's in high demand.
Yes, he is.
They all are, yeah.
He has.
Sometimes he'll tell you how many months he's out.
Well, if you call, it says we're not doing anything else for 15 months, something like that.
It's true, though.
My adjustment, 5 years, 6 years. Wow.
What did you say?
He's right.
I've signed here, right there.
Oh, I see. It didn't.
So I'm just leaving room for the other two commissioners.
Get the sign in now. Can I do one more thing under old business before we move to correspondence?
By all means.
I wanted to ask Doug
So are
about,
there two of them?
there's another copy for us.
One's for Eidelweiss and one's for Ron Briggs.
We don't need to sign.
Yeah, that one's for, that they goes back to them and.
Do you have interest in the project that was approved for perching Thusis Beach?
I talked with Jeff briefly Saturday about that, and I said we have to put our heads together and try to figure out how to do that. I've got a couple of ideas, but we'd have to see how that lays out
Yes.
on the beach physically.
We need the snow to go away and take a
Thank
look
you,
at it.
commissioners, and thank you for your time and patience.
Good luck with everything.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's good you are interested.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that when we had the budget hearings that Tom Gunn has a terraced or perched beach at his own property
Right.
on Middle P.
Right.
And he pulls the raft in and he has a system where he puts rails down and pulls it with his tractor.
Yeah.
So I'd like him to join us when we go to that beach to look at it.
Yeah.
And there's another guy who I think might be a hardscaping landscaper who his family walks to that beach with a parade of equipment. They just love Thusis Beach, and I'm sure that if he's in the business, he might be interested in really helpful with some ideas. So,
Yeah.
so that's a project that I'll make sure that you are available to do that.
Yep. Good.
And great.
The other part of that conversation was the rafts themselves, the paint surface.
Yes.
And I've got some ideas. I think we can probably clean them up without affecting the sand on the beach. I've got an idea on how we can remove the paint safely.
Oh,
Whether we can find an oil-based paint to put back on that will be an anti-slip, I don't know. If not, we could just leave it a nice sanded surface, which would take care of the splinter problem.
With synthetic boards, Trex type,
Oh, yeah, well,
is that slippery
they
when
can-
when wet or not?
they can be slippery, yeah, yeah,
And they get very hot,
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
so that might not be so good for people's
Right.
toes.
If we
Yeah,
come
they-
up with a solution that we're not painting these things every year, that would be great.
jeez.
Yeah, I'm wondering if just sanding them down would really resolve the issue. They look nice, get rid of the splinter problem,
Yep.
no painting. So, but I'm gonna put a crew together work with Jeff.
Maybe we put tops down before we set them down so that we
Right.
can paint them right
Right.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, good, you're gonna work on that with us.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think we've got some good volunteers in EPOA who will be enthusiastic about jumping in and helping. We've got to get a generator from somebody to do that, I think. So that's the one. But we're working on that. Get them cleaned up before they go in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay, good, thank you, Doug. I'd like to just go back and old business or water just quickly. We discussed that the water discussion with Ian next week will be Lugano, Leadline, and Skata. do we want, before we meet with Ian, to do that Summit Pump House inspection you were talking about in the past?
I would certainly like to do it.
Okay.
With Ian?
No, I don't think we need Ian for
Okay.
that. We need to bring it up to him next week, but we were gonna do an inspection as commissioners, just to get a feel for it. So do we wanna try and look at doing that this week? Or Monday of next week, or just before we meet with Ian? You're tight?
The insulation in the pump house, the Summit pump house, is a mess.
The
Even
insulation,
from
yes.
the last times we've been in there, you know?
I think
It needs to,
I think I'd like to bring something with us that I think as soon as it gets warm enough that we're not worried about the insulation being taken down, I think we need to pull it down to see what the rafters look like.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
And I don't want to do that. I guess I need to see it to decide whether it's so far gone that we pull it down now and it's going to cost us extra fuel to heat a
right.
non-insulated metal roof. The building's mostly underground, which means it's
Right.
ambient temperature's 50 degrees.
Insulation there, yeah.
But we're pumping water into these huge tanks with metal faces on them that the water is still down around 34 degrees. So it's a big refrigerator underground. So I guess we might need 2 visits up there, but I'll bring something that we can pull the insulation down, which I guess you don't want to be under it when you're pulling it down either.
No,
Get
you don't.
itchy.
And have some,
Ew.
like COVID masks on or something,
Right.
not
Yeah.
outright
Suits you guys
respirators.
Gloves.
Send you
Yeah.
to it.
At 91, what do they call those masks? The
No, I
95A?
like the setup you guys had set up when you did
Right.
Oh.
the wreckage room.
In
Yeah,
95.
I still have mine.
I still got mine, yeah. I only bought 2 of those for Doug and I when we went in hazmat suits to do that once.
They have tether ropes that send you in.
Oh my God, that was a mess.
Oh.
So, all right, so I think what we're hearing is sort of a quick preliminary inspection before we meet with Ian next week, but then there'll be a follow-up one to get a better handle what it looks like beneath the, because I don't like the idea of ripping down insulation at this time of year yet.
Right.
Unless it's hanging down and not doing it.
Well, yeah, if it's
Yeah.
already hanging down, that'll, all right, so, I can do tomorrow late afternoon or anytime Friday.
Has to be posted, correct? So, gonna give time
So why don't we
for
make it
posting.
Friday if
Or
you could,
Or
this
extended.
meeting. Extend
But
this
yeah,
meeting.
true.
or what? Or
Extend this meeting.
extend-
Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow afternoon. Or Friday.
What time tomorrow afternoon?
I'm gonna say later in the day, just to be on the safe side, maybe 3:34. It looks like we only need like 30 minutes up there.
4 might be okay.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now we can get back on track. All right, so under signature items, we have a request for absence.
Yep, you got
One
time.
of the DPW employees, 5 days in July. It says July 3rd, which, is that an official holiday?
It is.
It is, okay. So our employees have anyway, so basically,
It's 5 days.
yeah, he'd be out that week of 6th to the 10th.
Correct.
Is the holidays, they have Friday off, the 3rd? Because
3rd is a
Saturday's the
holiday,
4th?
correct.
Okay. So his vacation starts on the 6th then?
Yeah, in reality, yes, vacation starts on the 6th
Yep.
and ends on the 12th.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever Friday is.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve this request for absence or holiday by the DPW employee.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. All right. So we'll need to factor this in addition to if we can get this guy through CDL school with everything else we want to do this summer.
And it's good that we know when he's on vacation as we're planning the FEMA projects, that he's not here to
Exactly.
drive or anything.
Exactly.
And I think Tony and Jeff are gonna try to nail that down too, so that we can plan around it.
All right, so at 10:05, we'll go into correspondence. And I think we said the Mitchell Municipal, we're gonna go take that non-public today.
Mhm.
Okay, so then the second one is this very odd 91A request.
Agreed.
So here's I printed it out. Okay, this guy gives a telephone number that's based out of Fort Worth, Texas. He has a very unusual name, so I'm pretty confident that the Google search I did on him showed that he worked for a group called Sakesh Consulting or something like that, which is a data aggregator or something like that. But yet, I don't think this request is on behalf of Sakesh, because he gives a personal email, a Gmail account, and not one you'd expect from a business, would be sakesh.com. Nor does he state any reason why he wants.
He doesn't have to.
He
There is,
doesn't have to.
yeah,
You have to be
there is no
careful.
requirement.
Okay, that's education to me, remember? I'm
Yep.
still the
Yep.
amateur here. All right. But it's very odd that somebody who has that I can see any known connection to this place.
The legislature has talked a couple of times about trying to limit 91A to citizens of the state of New Hampshire.
Yep.
And it has not passed.
Okay.
It has not changed. So 91A is for anyone. It is a valid 91A request. We need to pull any documents for any bid that we did in those timeframes and get it to them within 5 days.
All right, but here's the weird one. Okay, it says copies of all request solicitations, RFPs, RFIs, RFPs, all the responses submitted in response to those solicitations, the NOIA, Notice of Intent to Award, the evaluation score sheet, and any bid protest documents that may exist issued by Orange between January 1st, 2023 and November 1st, 2025. What is Orange? Any clue?
That I'm not sure of.
That, I was like, what the?
So this
And I don't know of any bid packages we did in the last 2 years.
is dated March 5th. Today is the 10th. So I think the first thing that has to happen is we have to send him, according to 91A, we have to send him notification that we got his request, and here's the amount of time we need to fulfill the request, because
Yes.
we're already at the 5-day mark discussing this.
Mm-hmm.
So an email has to go to him saying, we got your request. It will take us this amount of time for us to pull all the information together to go back to 2023, I think is when he starts.
January 1st, 2023 to November 1st, 2025.
So that was before the storm. I think I became a commissioner in March of 2023.
Yes, you did.
So at that point going forward, I don't remember any requests for proposals being sent out to the with public notification in newspapers or whatever. The last RFP that I know of was for the Rhineac project
Which well precedes this.
by many years.
Right.
So,
Did the old board put one in for, who was that? Doug, do you remember what the name of that, remember that water consulting firm down in southern New Hampshire that was kind of
Oh, yeah,
a
not Horizons, but the other.
yeah,
one that-
I don't know if they put an RFP out for that.
Yeah.
what was it for? The engineering company?
Yeah, what was the
CMS?
Yeah, there was the one that, it was a ridiculous amount that a former commissioner was really hot to trot on. All it was consulting. It was like reinventing the wheel, what we already knew. And we all knew that was going to get turned down at the annual meeting. It was. But I'm wondering if they sent out. But
That would have been before that.
It would have
before
been.
the timeframe.
When I was on the water commission, that's the water committee, that was 2022. That was, they probably put it in at that time frame, before this time.
Right.
Okay. So, to the best of our knowledge, there is none.
Mm-mm.
So we can answer this guy right away, so there's zero, there's none.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be worth
A check, right?
a search through Outlook to see if RFP shows up anywhere. Before we say there were none.
Yeah. Let's do our due diligence first, so we can go back and say there is none, but.
So we should send the email to the person, to the requester
Mhm.
today.
Yes.
Yes.
That says we're going to need 7 days so that we can discuss it next week, anything that we find.
And I'll ask if you think this would be a good thing to add or not. And we have received no, was it complaint from Orange?
Yeah, bid protest documents
Bid
that may
protest, we
exist.
received no bid protest from.
Issued by Orange, which
by
we don't even know what
Orange,
that is.
And we could say that, we don't even know what
We don't
Orange
even know
is.
what Orange is, but we've not.
Right.
Unless Orange comes up in a search. But I have never heard of that. And that's following 91A.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Very odd. All right, any other discussion? Otherwise, we can move on to the next agenda item, which at 10:11 is public appearance, public comments. Doug, you have any public comments?
I just wanted to check on that, MS 123, is it?
Mhm.
Is that look good enough to issue, or do you
Well,
want some time
does-
to review it?
The office will send it into the DRA.
I need to sign it, though.
The one thing that we changed chair today, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one thing
Yep,
that,
yep,
that
yep.
I already looked at and
Yep.
said, yep, that should reflect the current. And otherwise, it seems very proper. It's got all the right dates for,
If that, with that one change, if that looks okay, I'll sign it, send the original and the PDF that Jen's gonna need to
Mhm.
submit. And that'll take care of it. Way ahead of, I think we have 20 days or 30 days to get that in.
I think it's 20.
Way ahead. Should a copy of that go to Madison so they know who the current officers are? How do we inform them?
Can
We don't.
Can we
I don't
can we-
think,
can we
we
just-
don't think we did anything prior, before, I don't know.
Can we just tell them verbally, or just send an email, these are the new?
We, I am not aware of this ever having been sent to the town of Madison.
Okay. No, I'm just saying,
I can ask
as a
her.
courtesy,
The point
Yeah.
being,
Give
the
me
point
this back
being
as
is
a
a
good-
courtesy to let them know who. the
Yeah, we can
officers
certainly
are.
let them know,
Yeah.
but,
do you want this back, or
I'll-
to?
I can.
no, it's actually Doug's.
Oh, this is Doug's.
Yeah, he's gonna sign it
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that right up by the microphone.
And the two oaths of office, we
Yep.
can add those to the
Yep.
26 election folder.
Thank you.
That's great. And that's it.
Nice.
Okay,
Great.
So, okay, let's go on to the next one.
okay, next is non-agenda items, I don't have anything.
The supervisors
Of the checklist?
of the checklist.
Yep.
They did not only the election, as they always do, but we had 2 bond articles this year,
Mhm.
which took a little extra work on their part. So didn't know if we wanted to set up what we should be paying them this year. I don't remember how much we paid them last year.
We did discuss at some point giving a bit of a raise there,
Right.
right. So I guess we'd have to start with what we know that we paid in the past.
So do we want to have that info for next week?
Yes.
And then we'll,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we have the payments made to those individuals in 2025 for discussion on what we're gonna pay them for 2026.
second.
You're looking confused there.
Yeah, it's just general information. I don't understand what you need
Okay.
a motion for.
We paid the supervisors the checklist. 2 individuals, was it?
Yes.
Yes,
Just 2 this year.
Right. Well, okay. It's always been 2, I think. Every annual meeting there's
No, it's 3.
There was a missing.
there's normally 3.
Okay, but they were all probably paid equally.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
Okay, so let's just find out what we paid the supervisors of the checklist last year for the annual meeting. Have that information for next week, and we'll discuss what we're gonna pay them this year.
Aye?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, any other non-agenda items? All right, seeing that there's none, I'm gonna make a motion that we, how do we do this?
Roll
Go, okay. I'm gonna make
Motion, then roll.
a motion
Okay,
to
hold on
go-
a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay. Time?
Time is 10:15. Make a motion that we go into a non-public session.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, okay. Roll call. Nancy, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
I say aye too. Okay,